Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm just going to be doing my makeup. I'm going to be talking through it, actually telling you what I'm using. I wanted to recreate the eyeshadow look that I did for my Jaclyn Cosmetics The Prep and Set video. I really just love that look. That's a go-to look of mine, so I wanted to show how I do it on camera. I'm going to do something completely different for the lips, but if you're interested, we'll get started. Okay, so first up, I'm going to go in with foundation. I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Luminous Matte Foundation in the shade 210B Chai. Go in with a good size pump on that. And I'm just going to kind of spread that out because I don't want that full pump on one side of my face. And just blending that out with my beauty blender. This is not a beauty blender. This is the sponge from Morphe. I don't know why I can't get that out of my head. This is a very full coverage foundation. I mean super duper full coverage. So if you want a more natural look, skip this one, baby. Skip this one. I like this foundation. It films beautifully. To me, this is perfect for YouTube just because it looks really, really good on camera. Now, in person, it looks heavy. So this wouldn't be a go-to of mine. I haven't actually even worn this in like my daily life. So I don't love it for actually wearing it, but YouTube videos, it's gorgeous. I wish the color wasn't quite so yellow. This was supposed to be pink beige undertones, and it is yellow. Yellow belly sapsucker. Okay, and I always go over my eyelids as well just to give a little bit more coverage, even though I use a full coverage concealer. It's just really the excess that's on the sponge. Next, I'm going to be going in with concealer. This is the Tarte Shape Tape Ultra Creamy in the shade 16N for neutral. Very light. Decent amount under the eyes. I know the trend of doing less concealer under the eyes is getting really popular, but I still like quite a bit. That's just me though. You do you. I hope all is well with you guys. I just really wanted to film today. I didn't really have anything specific that I wanted to sit down and do. But I just felt inspired to sit down and just do more of like a chit chat, get ready with me style video. I haven't done one of those in a while where I'm actually talking about the makeup, but talking about random things as well. So I'm getting my, if you watched my last video, you saw that my windshield got cracked, and it started out fairly small. Next day it was a huge runner. So I'm going to get my windshield repaired tomorrow, or replaced tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. It's a mobile windshield guy, so he's going to come to me, which is nice. Huda Beauty Cupcake. We know it. We love it. We hate the smell of it, but it is absolutely gorgeous. Decent amount. Setting that under my eyes, and I'm not going to wipe this away. I'm just going to press this into the skin. Up on the eyelids as well. I've noticed that the best makeup days that I have are when I use this powder. It makes just, oh, I got a huge whiff of it. But it makes a huge difference. It's very smoothing because I do have enlarged pores, so when I use this powder, I look my smoothest, and I love that. So if I want a really good makeup day, I'm not trying to play with makeup and experiment, I'm going to use Huda Beauty Cupcake. Fenty Beauty Match Stick Contour Stick in the shade Amber. I love this so much. I feel like when I use this, I really notice a big difference in my makeup. Just the overall look of it. It looks like you just did that extra mile, like you went the extra mile with your makeup, and this is a new holy grail product of mine. Taking that on my nose as well. Which I already have a little nose, but you know, under the bottom lip as well. Fluffy angled brush. I'm not picky with my brushes to blend this contour stick out. It's not finicky. are difficult to work with at all, so this was the brush in front of me, so that's what I'm using. If y'all haven't tried this product, the Fenty Beauty contour stick, I would highly recommend it. Little angled brush to blend out the nose. Take that up into the brow. Blending out the bottom lip with the same brush. Now with this, I'm not going to overblend this, because you can see I still have that dark right under there. And that's about as blended out as I'm going to go. I'm going to go in with bronzer and blush. This is Warm Goddess and, no, Warm Flush Golden Goddess. On a big fluffy brush. Just to warm the face up, since that contour is pretty cool. I like the combination of the two on the skin. I think it's really pretty. Okay, I'm actually going to go in with the same brush that I used to blend out that contour, taking more bronzer and stippling it on the skin because I want a more intense bronze look with this, rather than so diffused like that big brush would do. I'm still taking the bronzer and I'm going to be putting this on my cheeks just to give it that more warm look. Gonna take Warm Flush on a fluffy brush and just lay that right over the top. I like bronzer placed where your blush goes and then a little bit of blush on top. It just really, I don't know, to me it just looks better. It looks a little bit more natural. I'm gonna take the Lilac powder from Jaclyn Cosmetics and I'm actually gonna bake because I want bright and bright. So I'm not going to go in quite as heavy as I did with the video where I was testing these out. But still, I want a little bit more definition, light brought out. Taking that down the sides of my nose and on my pore area a little bit. Alright, on the flat side of the sponge, just gonna line that up a little bit and cut out my contour and bronzer. And you see I'm going in with a lot less product than what I did in the video where I was testing out all these products. Okay, when you're baking your jaw, it's so important to look straight on into your mirror to make sure you're even. Alright, while that bakes, I'm just going to apply my lipstick. I'm not going to do my eyeshadow and all of that because I don't want it to bake that long. So I'm just going to do my lips, let this bake just a little bit, however long it takes me to get this dark lipstick on in a symmetrical, smooth way. Then I'll wipe it off. NARS Power Matte Lipstick in Rock With You. Best, hands down, best lipstick, liquid lipstick formula. By far. And I don't think I'm going to go in with a lip liner because I don't have a deep lip liner here, so I'm just going to wing it. And the tip on this applicator is pretty small, so it should be relatively easy. I normally always line my lips though, so I'm kind of out of practice. Now, when I'm doing videos, I kind of rush through my lipstick a little bit, so it's not always as smooth, but in person, like my daily routine of makeup, I take time on my lipstick. This is not a step that I'm going to rush through because I like my lines to be pristine, absolutely sharp and clean. And this is the same dip so far. I'll go in with another dip once I'm all like lined up, but the reason I do it that way is so I don't get too much product where it bleeds outside of my lip line. Do the Cupid's bow. Okay, and I'm just now going in with my second dip. That is a beautiful, beautiful, not chartreuse, wow, aubergine. Okay, now that this bake has set on for the however long it takes me to get my lipstick how I want it, I'm gonna wipe this off. It hasn't been that long, but probably about 5 minutes. About half the time of what I let it sit on for the video, the other video. And with this under my eyes, I'm more so stippling it in rather than completely wiping it away. I am a little bit, but it's more so being pressed into the skin. Back in with the sponge, just kind of buffing or patting in that line. That went, okay, I like it under my eyes. My jaw went a little bit too light for my liking, so I'm gonna just take the brush that I use with the bronzer and contour, no additional product at all, but just kind of buffing over the line in the jaw a little bit just to soften that color a little bit. But I like the really bright under eye with this look. Now for my eyes, I'm just going to be going in with a single shadow by Marc Jacobs. This is Daddy-O, the absolute perfect brown shade, not too warm, not cool, perfect neutral shade. And with this look, this is a go-to look of mine. I wear this all the time. Now, I don't always take this shade. I can take any old transition shade brown from any palette and do this look. Sometimes I want it a little bit deeper, sometimes I want it a little bit lighter, but I always, regardless, start with a big fluffy brush. And you want to start with just a little bit. I don't think you could even probably see that on the brush at all, but just a little bit. Now I start on my outer corner, and I'm not sweeping, I'm not buffing or anything, I'm just tapping. And I'm tapping that starting at the lid all the way to the brow. Coming out a little bit because I'm kind of bad about not going out. And this is where I start to sweep because I do want this to be extended a little bit. Same on the other side. Patting it. Then I'm going to start to sweep it out, just so we have more of a diffused edge and not such a rounded eye look. I want this to almost be a straight line going, well, I guess I gauge it from the arch to my eyebrow. And I'm going to start to gently buff that in. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go under my lower lash line, same shade. Taking that on my lower lash line on a pencil brush, and I'm going to actually build this up under the lower lash line because I like a little bit deeper of a lower lash line. And this is one thing about the Marc Jacobs shadows. You can do them very light-handed and get more of a washed out look, or you can build them up and they get pretty pigmented. So be sure to meet under the lower lash line to where you took that shade out so you don't have any disconnect there. On a more dense but still fluffy brush, same shade, and now we're going to be taking it on the inner corner of the eye, and I'm angled downward, holding it pretty much at the end of the brush so I get a soft hand with it. A little more shadow, and I'm just sweeping that upward. Kind of avoid the really inner corner, like where you're connected to the nose, because we're going to put a highlight there, or an inner corner highlight. Alright, and now I'm buffing this all the way up to the brow. Same thing on the other side. All the way to the brow. So don't be careful or cautious to not get it into your brow, because this look to me looks better when it is completely buffed up. Same brush back to the outer corner, tapping on the lower part of the lid, and then buffing up with the excess product. We're going to get a little bit deeper. Be sure to sweep out so you have a smooth, seamless edge. Again, same shade. Down on the lower part of the lid, outer corner, just to get that a little bit deeper. This look is really about taking your time with blending because you want it to be very blown out and smooth. Original blending brush we used, no additional product at all. and I'm just buffing and smoothing. I'm not being careful or cautious or anything like that. And I'm going over the middle at the top. Avoid the lower part of the lid, but just to buff at the top. Back in with the pencil brush, again, same shade. You can use any shade you want to with this style of look. Any old whatever mid-tone brown will get the same look. You don't need the specific shade. Now all I'm doing is bringing that brown in a little bit more. We're going to close that gap off just a little bit. And this is a good opportunity with your pencil brush to make sure that inner corner by your tear duct is covered. Another blend, and we're just going over. Avoid the lower lid. In the Jaclyn Cosmetics video that I did where I had this eyeshadow look, I did go in with a lighter brown. To be specific, I went in with this shade right here from the So Fire palette from KKW. This is more of a caramel shade, so it gave it a little bit more of a lighter look and a little bit more on the warm tone side. But any old brown will do. Now I'm going to go in with Queen Phyllis by Bare Minerals. This is a loose pigment in a beautiful champagne. And I'm just going to take what's on the cap with a flat shader brush. And this is dry. And we're just popping that down. We want it to be a little bit more concentrated on the lower lid. Carrying that over a top, barely, of the brown shade that we laid down. This is still one dip. Now I'm carrying that up and I'm just stippling all the way up to the brow. I didn't go back in with another dip. This is just what I had laid down on the lid. Stippling over top of the brown on the edge just to get a smoother blend. Stippling all the way up to the brow. Now, if you're scared of shimmer in the crease, don't be. My favorite looks, when I get the most compliments on my looks, is when I do have shimmer in the crease and on the upper lid and all of that. So don't be afraid of it. I would actually highly recommend giving it a shot because it changes your look completely. Sometimes like I'll have just a plain Jane brown smoky eye where it's just laid all over the lid, and then I'll take my highlighting brush with no additional product and I'll just buff that and sweep that over the lid just to give it a little bit of a sheen, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Medium blending brush that we used just over the edge and going up at the top over the brow, or not over the brow, right under the brow, because we want this to be blended. Okay, on a damp brush, same shade, Queen Phyllis, laying that down just on the lower portion of the lid. Because I want that spotlight right there. Biggest fluffy brush, tapping over, and that kind of diffuses the shimmer a little bit. Try to avoid the lower lid just so we keep that spotlight. Okay, now I'm going to go in with this eyeshadow palette from LA Girl. This is Good Times and Tan Lines eyeshadow palette. The only reason I'm dipping into this eyeshadow palette is for this white highlight shade right here. Now you could have used this palette and used that brown right there and you would get the same look. This would actually be a lot more similar to the look that I did in the video, the previous video. Now I'm dipping into that white shade, and this will be for the inner corner. Now with a look like this, I like a nice, pretty bright inner corner. So I'm going to build this up. Okay, with no additional product, I'm going to take this with the tip of the brush right up next to the nose and sweep that up. Just one sweep. Sweep that up. That gives you a line of shimmer, and it's just a really unusual look, but I find that it's super flattering. And I'm just going to buff that just a little bit. Medium blending brush, just to kind of diffuse that shimmer that we raised up into the brow just a little bit. You don't want to get rid of it completely, you just want to soften it a little bit. Alright, before I put on mascara, I'm just going to go in with a little bit of highlight. I'm going to take the Jaclyn Cosmetics palette. This palette isn't in stock, but you can get this shade. I'm going to go in with the shade Sparks, which is this kind of goldish white shade, to get my nose. And just a little bit on the cheeks. Alright, for starters on mascara. Now, this is my video, these are my rules, I can do it how I want to. So I'm going to go in with 2 separate mascaras because that is how I always do my mascara. MAC Extended Play Gigablack is going to be the first layer. This is the best mascara to put on first. I find that it pairs beautifully with other mascaras. And I'm starting up and then I'm going on the back side, so brushing downwards. This is a very thin formula, so for a first layer it doesn't get clumpy. Alright, so I'm going to take this same mascara for my lower lash line. Not lower lash line, my lower lashes. Duh. Rimmel Lash Accelerator, and this is the mascara that I'm going to take my time with. The first layer the first mascara that I apply I don't really take much time with. The second one is the one that I'm going to spend the most time with. Really getting my lashes extended. Because if y'all haven't noticed, I don't wear false lashes. But I like my lashes to look as long as possible. Okay, so 1 mascara versus 2. To me, it makes a difference. Alright, so I smudged my mascara a little bit. It has dried now, so I'm just going to take a spoolie and get that off. Alright, last step of this makeup look, and it's an important one. Kohl liner, black, tight line. It is a must for a look like this. And if you have mascara on, you really need to do this step because it makes such a difference in the lash line because you don't have that separation of skin versus dark lashes. Alright guys, and that is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It wasn't quite as chatty as I thought it was going to be, but that's okay. I've been a little bit, it's hard for me to focus here lately. Like, I don't know if I just have so much going on and like so much work to do that it's been really difficult for me to just finish a thought. So, but I am so blessed to be able to have so much work here lately, and my photography, I feel like I've really grown with it. So, see what I mean? I've just been having a hard time just finishing a thought. But earlier when I was editing this morning, I had put on one of my videos and just watching it and listening to it, and I absolutely love doing these videos, and they have made me feel so much better. Just having another avenue of creativity is just felt very good. I feel like I'm able to voice my thoughts and just be creative. So I hope you guys enjoyed this look in this video. Hopefully I will see you guys on the next one. If you haven't subscribed, I would appreciate it if you would do so. If you want to be notified when I post, hit the bell. Other than that, I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.